Hi, everyone. Okay, I think it's time for starting. I would like to make a question before we start. Who from you guys know Perses or have used it before? Any hand? Okay, 3, 4. Cool. So today we are going to learn about Perses, that new dashboard visualization tool. Antonio Jimenez, coming from Spain, working on Cisco ThousandEyes and specialized on observability. And we are going to learn about now. That's such a good tool. Perses is an open source standard for dashboard visualization, having dashboard as first-class citizen. We are moving from clicking on the UI to configuring your dashboard using code. You're going to learn in the demo later. It's also part of the Cloud Native Foundation and have a government commit. Why do we need Perses? The main reason is because there are many dashboard problems. Dashboards are fragmented. In a same organization, different teams are using different platforms like Elastic, Grafana, Prometheus. So there is not a single source of truth. Dashboard chaos, I really like that one. For a same metric name, different teams are calling it differently. They are representing a different way. And who maintains those? No one, right? Manual UI, this is what I mentioned before. We are today on an era where when you modify a dashboard, you have to make a few clicks or changes a JSON, and it doesn't scale. Imagine that you upgrade your Spring Boot version, and now that changes the metric name. You have to change it all over your organization, all over your dashboard. That's really hard. And there is a lack of standardization. Every vendor has a different query language. The learning cube is quite huge, which means that at the end of the day, you are vendor locked, and you don't migrate, right? Because it's challenge. That's why with Perses, we are going to solve all of those with the following functionalities. As Grafana, Perses provide different data sources like Prometheus for metric, Loki for logs, Pyroscope for profile, and Tempo for traces. But the cool thing is like you can add your own. Like other companies are adding their own data source. Something that I like to mention here is like now you have an open source tool where you can have a single glass panel. You see your traces, your logs, everything in the same platform. Dashboard as code, that's my favorite. Now you can configure your dashboard just using code like Go or Q. They have those SDKs. And that brings us a lot of possibilities. Now you can reuse components, you can test that code, you can have also the GitHub features like other peers can review your pull requests, you have version control. This is really cool. And at the end of the day, what you are doing also is saving money. We have another tool called Perses. It's a command line tool that allows you to manage the resource. It connects to the REST API for Perses, so you need to log in into Perses UI. And then it's apply resource, validate them, build the dashboard. So it's really powerful. Even they have a migration for Grafana configuration into Perses dashboard. If you have such a cool CLI, you need to automate. So the Perses community have created that CI/CD automation with GitHub Action. So you just put that snapshot of code. And at the end of the day, when you are when you are in a pull request, we are going to build a dashboard. We are going to log into their Perses CLI. We are going to validate your dashboard. We are going to preview. Let me stop here. Preview is really cool because that creates an ephemeral dashboard that have a TTL of configurable, let's say 1 day. So you can see how your config change look like in the dashboard. And the last one is also a diff. You're in a pull request and doing a diff of the code. But that diff preview is doing a diff of the configuration. So you're going to see like if you change the threshold, you add a new chart or anything. And when you are merging, you don't need to have those preview. You just build it, log in, you go into the validation, and then you deploy. And then you can see on your Perses application. That's really, really good integration with automation. Perses is built using an extensible and pluggable architecture, which means that the core is quite basic and simple, and everything is a plugin. So every single panel is going to be a plugin, like the charts, the table, the gauge, all of them are going to be panels. The variables, all of them are going to be also plugin, like a custom variable, a list of possible variables, the Prometheus label values, all of those. We have also queries to get the data from the data source and put it on the panels. And we also have explore. This is a functionality from different observability backend. Also, Perses have it, is to explore your data. So you don't have a dashboard per se that you build it, you just explore them. And remember, we have Perses CLI. It's also managed the plugin. So everything works well together. When that tool was built, we were using Kubernetes as in mind. So they created that from the ground, which means that the configuration is following a CRD format. They have CRDs for dashboard, data source, and project. They also have a RBAC for permission, and they also have Helm chart for installing on your Kubernetes. So let's now move to the demo, which people like it a lot. We have here let me see if you can see well. We have here Perses running locally on Kubernetes, on Docker, and we have a dashboard for logs and another one for traces. Super simple. Let's add now one for metrics. So if in that folder, I have one main.go. If I do cat main.go, you're gonna see that it have like different panels, different charts, different panel groups, even have like different variables, the name of the dashboard. Everything is written there as code. And now what we are gonna do is build it, Perses CLI DAC build, and that is building the configuration. So if we do cat build, it's just building that configuration. You are familiar with JSON in Grafana. It's gonna be quite similar, honestly. And now what we need to do is validate it, Perses CLI lint for validating, and that's provided to you if that's good or not. Something about validating means you can put your own rules. That's quite powerful. It's using by default the basic one, but you can add your own. Now we connect to Perses CLI logging to the instance I am running locally, and then now I apply. And that dashboard that we are talking about is gonna appear there. So let me refresh, and there you have it. So now you have the dashboard that we created. We have as data on the ThousandEyes one, so we have different tests there. We have like network tests, HTTP, page load, with different kind of charts like percentage or timeline, the one that all of you are familiar, DNS data, FTP, all of this data is there. And now let's go to the other dashboard that we created. Remember, metrics are coming from Prometheus, logs are coming from Loki, and traces are coming from Tempo. Let's go to logs. If I put like 12 hours, in ThousandEyes, logs are user activity. So each user is performing some action, and then the logs appear here. Like we can see, for example, login, logout, test account, test created, test rule update, so some things that were happening. And we have also attributes for those logs, like the user ID, your account ID, the email, all this data. But we also have dashboard for traces. We have a table where the column is the trace name. We also have the number of span, the duration, the start time. We also have the number of errors, if there are. And then another one, which is a timeline with the duration of your spans, of your traces, where you can see all of them there. Also, I like to go to explore so you can learn more. If we go to Tempo traces and we select one like Cisco.com, give me a second. Perfect, here it is. We can see all the traces related with service name Cisco.com, and if we select one of those, we are gonna see a waterfall chart as we are all familiar to see. And for every span, we are gonna see like the different attributes, like the span attribute and the resource attribute related in that case with a test from ThousandEyes. But at the end of the day, what I want to transmit here is like with Perses, you can visualize logs, traces, profile, and metrics all together in the same platform and using dashboard as code. That was all for the session. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy, guys.